Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Umineko When They Cry, starring me. It's just me today. Nobody else. Ignore that laugh and ignore those complaints in the background. It's just me. Every voice you hear, that's me.
Excuse me, sir. There is still a day left of Black History Month. I will not be calling.
You're erasing me.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Crimson.
At any rate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Pause. We might actually have a sponsor. I mean, you can keep going.
Alright. But yeah, I was gonna say, yes, Abyss. The fucking Uminekos cried ages ago. Specifically, when nobody's left alive. We've established this. It's happened at least 4 times now?
Not 5.
Mm-hmm. Yes, apparently B, our sponsor informant, is delivering us a sponsor, possibly. We don't know.
Yeah,
at any rate.
As your regular sponsor coordinator, this might be an episode early, or it might not be. But today's episode of Umineko no Naku Koroni is brought to you by Black Gorilla Duct Tape.
What?
Now, that being stated, you know, obviously we did read the sponsor.
I've never heard of Black Gorilla Duct Tape.
I've heard of Gorilla Glue, but I've never heard of Gorilla Tape.
Just the
At any rate.
It is duct tape, but it's the same, yeah.
It is a brand name of duct tape.
It is.
Okay.
Context clues are not that hard.
Is it strong duct tape?
So,
Yes.
I'm
Hey, yeah. Just a brief tangent very quickly before we get properly started. So earlier I was doing D&D with select members of the Discord chat, and we had like I have to do this thing where I basically just play music, but in order to obfuscate that, I have to put up like a fucking image or something and then full screen it so you can't see anything that's going on in Google Chrome. And I forgot that I had that thing still full screened, so I was just jump scared by an image of a character from the 25th Ward.
Damn it, such a shame. You could have been jump scared by dump truck Jeremiah.
God. Hey, you listen. You specifically requested that I put the meow meow on screen.
Still, I mean, I didn't know this would happen. If I knew the jump scare would happen, I definitely would have supported jump Jeremiah.
I'd be like, oh, it's just Jeremiah, thank God.
In here, I thought you could handle jump scares, Orange.
I'm very adept at handling jump scares. It's just it took me off guard.
Just
Your
putting.
phasmophobia playthrough begs to differ.
He's great at he's great at jump scares, except when they surprise him.
Mm-hmm. At any rate,
triggers in our game, but then get scared by jump scares by SMH.
Orange is gonna be real scared when he's just walking down a dark corridor in a Geomon stream. He gets jump scared by Germa's big dump truck.
if you put a jump scare in that shit, I'm gonna punch you like dead ass. I'm gonna find where you live. I'm gonna punch you through the goddamn TV. I'm gonna be a digital man. I'm gonna emanate myself into your abode as a fighting polygon team. I'm gonna kick your ass. At any
Orange,
rate,
if I put up a jump scare, I'd kick my own ass. But go on.
Yes, tired D&D. It's very fun, except for me because I kick myself every time afterwards because it's not good when I'm tired. Anyways, as a bit of extra additional house cleaning, depending on how much we get done of it tomorrow, we might just have like 2 to 3 back-to-back silver case related streams, because if we don't finish it tomorrow, AC might just give it to me on Tuesday. So I don't know about that. At any rate, additional time to read the silver case. Con.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
And then we're also. Oh no! Like we usually have something planned, but then he was like, "Yeah, you know what? If we're gonna get this done today, we're gonna get this done. Or if we're not gonna get it done on Monday, we might just get it done on Tuesday." His words.
I was immediate, like before they even said anything. I'm like, hey, if you need Tuesday to wrap everything up, I'm more than willing.
But yeah.
I honestly thought for a second by give it to you, he found some kind of trash visual novel that he wanted you to read on stream because you lost a bet or something.
No. But yeah, so look forward to that, and also I think like what is it? There's like a red, blue, green fan game I found, so that will provide us with the last inkling of the silver case information, except for when we do Flower, Sun, and Rain.
It'll be the last thing, except for when we continue it later.
Look, it's not named the silver case. It may involve the silver case, but still. No, it's called 25th Ward, the silver case.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I just call it the 25th Ward on stream so I can give it funny subtitles instead of what it's actually called. All right, let's get this bitch set up. Apologies for the tangents and the delays and the whatnot, but let's just get to it. Where the fuck did I put the goddamn? Where did I put the goddamn music? There we go. Let's get rid of that. Enough boner jams.
What?
Get the music up.
Boner jams.
Yeah, simple as.
Yeah, boner jams.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
It is not letting me skip the Umineko project text. That's always concerning. But it's fine. We're good to go. Alrighty then. Umineko when they cry. Now we just gotta go ahead and update all games.
Seriously, what movie is that from, Noir?
I don't actually know. I just know that it involves Paul Rudd.
40-year-old
And
virgin.
Boner Jams.
Oh,
There he is.
Why is it,
Mr. Steins Gate Zero.
Yeah, he joined about a
Mr.
minute ago.
Steins Gate Zero no longer.
Yeah, I finished rereading it literally right as it started.
Amazing. That right there is why you're the best, boss.
Killed the child.
Boss. Boss, you killed a child. Amazing. Mission complete. That right there is why you're the best, boss. Why the fuck isn't it goddamn... Oh, no. Oh, no. I swear to God, I don't have to do fucking
Maybe
window
you just
capture.
need to try
Well,
harder.
maybe Con or someone will have to cover my lines for 2 seconds. Be right back.
Capturing full screen. There we go. All right, now we're cooking with gas. Gas.
Gas, gas, gas.
I'm gonna step on the ass tonight. Let's get into it. Alrighty then. Good, everything's still here. Every time I start this game, I'm just concerned that it's gonna say, no save data. Die!
It's gonna tell you to die the death.
I'll be sentenced to death.
If that did happen, your soul would probably fly out of your body.
If I have to fucking restart this game again, I'm gonna shit. I'm gonna driersh.
Just shit your whole ass.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That
man.
orange may have been human, but he was chicken and waffles.
Let's have a pizza in the garage. Anyways.
What?
Alright, let's get to it.
See, this is why you need to watch Fesh Pints.
Wasn't Con there when we showed it?
I was there for that.
Anyways. God, why am I got a full 8 hours of sleep today and I'm ready to fucking die. Let's just do it. Erica was dozing off on her bed. So when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she had lain down. Yes, who is it? I have a good reason for knocking on the detective's door at an hour like this. That's right. I have one thing to say before we begin this game. Oh. The detective proclamation thing. Do as you wish. No, I mean the opposite. That's why we raise the stakes.
Raise the stakes?
What's this? Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean?
It's simple. Battler got a shot off at us at the last game. So if Erica does the same in this game, we're only even. Wasn't the last game a tie? We failed to win a game that should have been a shoo-in, right? If that isn't a loss, I don't know what is. Right, Erica?
Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily.
Oh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation, and win despite that? You're scheming to not only wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right?
You intend to participate in the game Battler's son poured his heart and soul into, with a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude.
You got a point there. It sounds more like an excuse, just in case they lose.
True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory, but if they lose, Erica's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting?
Don't worry. This bet is balanced on both sides. If this game is won by a human without the detective proclamation, it will be impossible for Battler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erica loses, that detective trash will be sent to the depths of oblivion, along with the worst possible fragment. See? That's balanced, isn't it? An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a superhuman detective, destroying the illusion of the witch.
Superman.
Sorry. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I've gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beato made. So we're raising the stakes and settling it all at once.
Well, that's true. If Battler makes it through this game, it'll mean that Battler has won Beato's game and the game will end. In a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right?
I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erica?
Yes, of course. In order to gain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction.
Is that of your own will?
What's wrong, Erica? Answer him, okay?
Obviously. This is my own will. I certainly will not lose. You want the detective's proclamation? I will defeat you no matter what.
Butler-san?
Sure, that's fine. That's what you want, they'll accept the challenge.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it.
After when Battlers played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth and demand that Beato repeat things he said.
Exactly. In a way, the last game was unfair. We failed to win despite that, which is why it was no different from a loss.
Do what you want. If you feel like making the detective proclamation, do it whenever you like. I understand that you're holding it in reserve at the moment.
As if I do such a thing against an opponent like you.
Then get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored.
Leave it to me, my master! I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without fail!
George and Jessica had been the one knocking on Erica's door. They're asking whether Battler and Maria had come to this room. Of course, they hadn't.
A good while ago, they went downstairs saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they might have come to your room.
Of course not. Why would they? Are you sure they didn't go to the mansion?
We called it the servant dining room. Yeah. Fuck, let me try that again. We called it the servant room and dining hall of the mansion, but no one picked up.
Please stay here, you two. I'm gonna go check out the mansion.
Hey, that's dangerous you got this late.
How could a stranger sneak into this sealed-off island? Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. Also, the servants in the guest house servant room not to leave the building. Bye.
Wait a second. Erica's on?
She's a strange kid.
After speaking her mind and not listening to anything else, Erica dashed down the stairs and rushed outside.
The first fight usually starts in the morning, but it looks like you've got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house. So that means the stage of the tragedy is within the mansion.
Though she had an umbrella up, Erica got drenched as she sprinted. She brashly licked the raindrops that dropped down her face. Erica was at her most energetic. According to her memory from the previous game, the entrance hall to the mansion would be locked at the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time. Had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set, or had it not been possible to set the lock?
Well, no point thinking about it now. After all, that might just be a whim of the Game Masters.
As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Goda's large body.
Ah, good evening, Goda-san. Is something the matter?
Police! Ambulance! no!
That expression really is wonderfully pathetic. Shelter for the person to discover the crime. Please calm down. How could the police or an ambulance get to an isolated island inside a typhoon? After the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself.
Yells from Kraus and Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor. Their shaken appearance perfectly signified that the coming of the first twilight.
Well then, give me the victims, the scene, and the reconstruction of the situation.
Those left to take a break didn't come back, so the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside and they couldn't open it. You'll see later, but the hat stand in the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from the inside.
So you're trying to say that the door was blocked from the inside and the windows were also locked from the inside?
That's it. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosa lying on the sofa in an unnatural position, with blood pouring from her forehead. They then smashed the glass into the parlor and discovered that Maria was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood.
Got it. Yes, that would make them yell. Any other crime scenes?
The entrance wasn't locked when you came into the mansion because they went out through it to check the parlor from the outside. It had been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others who had gone missing were lying elsewhere within the mansion. And the adults are now searching the entire building.
So, do the places the victims died match the long, crazy delusion you showed earlier?
They match.
Rosa and Maria were in the parlor. Found that Natsuki was in her own room, and Kyrie was in Krause's study. Ava was in the rose garden. No, but she moved to the VIP room, wasn't she?
Yes. Ava's corpse was found in the VIP room.
That makes 5 victims. That's one short for the first Twilight. Who's the 6th person, and where?
Kraus-sama! The chain in this room is also set!
Cut it. Culprit might be hiding in there. Go to do it.
Rudolph and Kraus had brought Winchesters from Kinzo's prized collection. They yelled at Goda, who was carrying the wire cutters, to cut the chain. The victims had been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion in a rage, looking for the culprit. This was a guest room. It had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house. This forgotten room had been searched from the inside had been sealed from the inside by the chain. As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Goda aside and flew into the room.
Is anyone there? Get out of here. There's someone on the bed. Let's get some light, Anarchy.
When Kraus pushed a switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure lying on the bed came into view.
There's definitely someone on that bed. Battler! Damn it, what are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, fuck.
Rudolph's knees crumpled, and he fell over Battler's corpse. No words could console him as he cried with a mad sorrow. In a single night, he had lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Kraus checked the window and the bathroom, and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one.
Battler! Battler! Damn it! Ah!
How sad.
I can't believe it, but this room is also a closed room.
What? Again?
Yes. My study, where Kiria-san was, Natsuhi's room, the VIP room with Ava, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter, and now Battler-kun in this guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it? That's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Ugh. Battler!
Oh. There's a surprise. That you yourself be the sixth person.
It's more interesting to kill yourself often every now and then.
And all of the crime scenes are closed rooms. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic.
Isn't seeing through that the point of this game? In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done only with magic, this wouldn't be a game.
That's an interesting thought. Yes. That is the sort of game we've been playing. This game is fair. The goal is to explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. If that couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game. In other words, as Erika-san had said, it's must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. Turned around, the witch side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. Unless the human side could see through those tricks, the witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed-room murder with magic, it's necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands.
Now I understand. I see why, when I ordered the Seven Sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them. And I understand the meaning of Mammon's words.
Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands. Is that it?
At that time, if I possessed the determination to kill classmates. No, that's not it. At that time, if I had been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic. However, because there had been a great number of witnesses in that classroom, it would probably have been impossible. It would have been burned by that anti-magic toxin Mario Nechan and the others always talk about. However, if I hadn't called those classmates out somewhere without witnesses, and if I had succeeded in murder, at that point, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even with magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adorn things they're capable of doing with magic.
Interesting. And that is because those who accomplish something without using magic later claim that magic was used and call themselves witches. This Erica person has understood that since the beginning. That's why she'll never surrender to witches. She is confident that there must be it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction.
Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponents surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out, and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Beato let this game get drawn out until she lost?
Many victims had been found, and the mansion was still wrapped in chaos. Hideyoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house, worrying about the safety of the kids there. Kraus and Rudolph's group was in the hall, talking about what should be done next. During a short gap in this chaos, Erica dashed all about the mansion. She was checking the crime scenes. Normally with the detective's authority, Erica had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time she hadn't yet made use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider. There was little to no chance that she would be allowed to investigate. So she was forced to quickly check all the crime scenes now, while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room, there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. Because she had borrowed that, she knew the location of all the rooms. Erica skillfully made her way throughout the mansion, dashing into each crime scene in turn.
Lady Erica, I believe you know, but please allow me to warn you just in case.
Yes. What is it?
It is true that you have an incredible photographic memory, Lady Erica. That, combined with the detective proclamation, is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by anything.
Yeah, I got it. No detective proclamation's been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course I understand that. Still, it doesn't mean I can afford to miss viewing the crime scenes directly. After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure.
For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death with absolute certainty. Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in red.
At least you need to use the blue truth liberally in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. Lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. Simply means I'm fighting under the same conditions Battler once was. Yes. This fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beato fought so fiercely. I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just to truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, it might be true that I was given quite a favorable, unfair position last game, as my master had said. It would be difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective. But I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue truths. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room, Krause's study, and Natsuhi's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. This time checking with my own eyes, as I had failed to do so in the last game. First off, all the scenes were made to look like closed rooms. Probably of special note was the fact that the master keys could have had nothing to do with the trick. The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. The windows were locked from the inside and the doors were all locked and chained. A master key could get around all the locks and the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I hadn't yet had Battler confirm that it's impossible to manipulate those from the outside, but I'm sure I'll be able to say it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand. Right now, I am a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the deaths of the corpses. Last time I neglected to check the corpses and let a massive bit of magic get by me. I won't fail like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I'm so indebted to.
We have checked all the scenes and finished gathering information. Here is our report.
Go ahead.
First, All the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference from the outside would be difficult. The only exception is the parlor, where Rosa and Maria lay dead.
Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with a hat stand.
It is thought to be substantially the same as a chain lock, in that it can only be set from the inside.
It is probably their goal to construct closed rooms where the explanations using master keys are made completely ineffective. The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it's natural that something else would be used in the chain's place.
In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room. There were several guest rooms other than the one Battler lay dead in, all with similar layouts, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there, so that everyone would be inside a chain-locked closed room. They did not. That headstand door bar in the parlor seems very suspicious. They should probably peruse this when demanding red truth. Pursue this when demanding red truths. Also, we have corpses, but are they the same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed even without the detective's authority?
Of course, she had checked all the corpses in all the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she would be able to see through any fake deaths with certainty. The old battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead. It was the same for Erica.
Please allow me to speak. Know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed with certainty by physical means.
Thanks.
Please allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any of these corpses might be a fake death.
Well, I doubt Battler will easily confirm their deaths in red even if I tell him to. Sheesh.
I like Beato's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete considering the master keys don't help you at all.
There are 2 general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after. An illusion of a closed door or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those.
I get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room, but it actually isn't, right? What do you mean by an illusion of a crime?
An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead?
Well, that's dumb. If the people inside are alive, handling any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet. Still, with this closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer.
What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there are secret doors, ways to kill from a distance, chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place.
I already know this since I'm looking at Battler's game board from the underside. But these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the inside, and there exists no method by which to construct, deconstruct, or interfere with them from the outside.
Can you say that in red?
That'd be a little too rude to Battler, so no. If you love me, you must see my words as red truth already, right?
Then the closed rooms are perfect. In other words, this is an illusion of a crime.
It does seem that way. If so, then I'll trick closed rooms. Doesn't this mean that everyone's got so pissed at Erica bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together and set up a fake murder to make fun of her? Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective.
Unfortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed.
Huh? And you don't mean by midnight on the second day, right?
No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I could give her examinations the red truth.
So, does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erica examined their corpses?
Yes, that's right. Totally.
But you won't say it in red for her, right? That poor Erica must want it so bad.
Well, she isn't even a detective this time around. I won't give her any red.
Still, that makes it incredible. This time, Batley really made a perfect closed room.
Oh, yes, I believe you're right.
Will Erica be okay? It looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance. But this one's pretty nasty. Won't this load be a bit too heavy for Erica without her detective's authority?
She is a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Battler and Beato were defeated by a mere human who isn't even a detective, they'd fall apart in the most exquisite way, don't you think?
And even if Erica loses, you get to play by throwing her into the worst fragment and knocking her into the depths of oblivion.
Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring.
You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, wringing out this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me.
Beato's game board did entertain me for quite some time. But we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game. So in the end, we really must let Battler and Erica bet everything in one final face-off.
And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame.
Come now. I've spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again.
Yes, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Brankenstell. Seeing your face twist with anguish is the one forbidden honey I've found for myself.
Lambda the Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Brent Castle had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room and murder. The witches hate a killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the role for Battler and Erica. Because you've trampled all over the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete?
Yep, I'm satisfied. So about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away? Or do it all at the end?
I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you.
Let's start with the closed rooms of the first twilight. First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red?
Depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I'll reveal my reasons when I refuse.
Good. Let's start simple and confirm the definition of a closed room. Delano, please read it aloud.
Understood. We demand that the following be repeated.
Delano spread out one of those scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the king in Western fairy tales, and read it aloud.
First, the rooms with the 6 people in them are all closed rooms.
Acknowledged. Of course, it's only until Goda and the others severed the chains and destroyed the closed rooms. At a nod from Delanor, Cornelia, who stood behind her, started taking notes.
Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct from the outside.
Acknowledged.
In other words, no trickery done from the outside can construct a closed room. It's not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example.
I don't need you to tell me that. Delano, please continue.
Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and outside of the room are prevented.
Acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you'd expect from a normal room, such as knocks, voices, and the extension telephone line.
Fourth, at the time of the deconstruction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except for the victims, Natsuhi, Ava, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, and Battler.
Acknowledged. In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside a closed room. If the culprit had slipped out of the room after the discoverers had noticed the murders and then walked away, it would have been possible to construct an illusion of a closed room. Because Battler had acknowledged that their statement with the red truth, the possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed room at the time of the crime, and that the culprit had hidden under the bed and snuck out after the discovery of the crime, had been denied.
Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstruction of the closed rooms.
I refuse.
Why? Because the victims really were alive after the closed rooms were destroyed? The craftsmen who barged in were the culprits and committed the murders then. In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse?
Not at all. The murders will continue to occur, so we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this.
Sheesh. What twisted logic. You probably see what we're getting at. Krause's group cut the chain and destroyed the closed rooms, then killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this.
Lady Erica, it is insufficient to refer to Krause's group, an unspecified number of people. You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was deconstructed.
Allow me to speak. Excepting the victims, those who entered the closed rooms were Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda.
Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Know that there is no proof that others did not enter.
I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the construction of the closed rooms, then excluding me, only Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms.
Sure. Acknowledged. However, this only applies to the current point in time. It's possible that some later developments in the game will cause more people to enter.
Repeat it! Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits.
Battler put his finger on his chin, deep in thought. The word culprit was fairly broad. and it might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch.
Why not answer? If we refuse, their blue truth naming Kraus and the others as the culprits will remain.
Sure. I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsuhi, Ava, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, and Battler.
And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans who didn't even enter the closed rooms to have been involved with murder, doesn't it?
Who knows? Think about it yourself. Then you can build up some blue truth for how a closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond with the red truth. However, we only need to destroy one of the blue truths you'll be presenting from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain it away with some long-distance closed room murder trick X, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth. These are the rules of the witch's game. Angie had confirmed these details with Battler in the 4th game. The witch side lays out riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use the blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. If they fail to make a counter-argument with the blue truth for even one of these riddles, the riddle will be considered to have been done by magic, and it will be impossible to deny the existence of a witch. In other words, the witch side only needs to protect any of one of its riddles. However, the human side is to fully explain all riddles with the blue truth. And even if the human side manages to explain all of the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red truth, the witch will win. That was why, like the strategy the old Beato had adopted at the end, it was sufficient for the witch side to put off their red truth counter-arguments until the very last moment, then make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot.
In any event, you refused to repeat the last one, right?
Don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free. From the witch's side perspective, repeating statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure that they haven't misunderstood the question. Therefore, they have no obligation to respond to extremely broad demands.
Not bad. Because you can handle being a player on the witch's side pretty well, too.
Your experience is no match for mine.
Delano!
Let us continue. Next, the victims did not die by any method other than homicide.
Acknowledged.
Of course, there were no suicides or accidental deaths.
7th, the victims.
That's enough, Eleanor.
Are you sure? There are still items.
Yes, that will do fine. I've conveyed this to the crime scene. From here on, it's time for me to argue back with the blue truth.
Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories. Though Ballard and Erica were enemies, it looked to Beato as though they were having a little fun doing this. She was probably slightly jealous of Erica. Beato thought back on the books she had read in Featherin's library, in which the old her and Battler had fought. That must have been fun as well. During a short break in the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. The 6 people killed, excluding Battler, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, then broke down, sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives, over and over again.
Why were they all women? How cowardly can a person be?
What's wrong with us? Here we are under the same roof and we're just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed. Damn it! But who? And how? They were not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them. Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed, I just want to know who did it.
Hey, Genji-san, Noda-san. Were the doors and windows to the mansion all locked during the family conference?
Yes, there can be no doubt. In accordance with Madam's instructions, everything is always locked at the time of night. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after seeing the children off to the guest house.
Oops.
How's that possible? I mean, Battler and Maria-chan were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right?
If everything's really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well.
He was arguing that Goto's failure to lock up properly might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, none of them had known that Battler and Maria had visited the mansion. If those two had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. If they had rung the doorbell, Goto would probably have heard them from the servant room, but Goto said that nothing of the sort had happened. How they entered their locked mansion was a complete mystery.
This is merely an idea, but... For example, what if Madame or someone happened to be near the entrance? Notice Battler-sama and Maria-sama knocking on the door or ringing the bell, and let them in!
That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right, Gota-san? Isn't there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone.
Yes, but you see...
Joshi?
Genji-sama.
Joshi.
At the time, Gota was serving drinks as you requested. So he was not in the servant room.
Why was there only one servant in the mansion on such an important day? Why was someone as important as Genji-san on duty in the guest house? Does that make any sense? Why was the servant room left empty? My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Goto would be kind enough to serve some fashionable drinks throughout the family conference as well.
Krasny-san. This is a family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Gota-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? There had been just one more person. Everything would be different, wouldn't it? Right? Right?
With a half-crying, half-enraged, jumbled-up expression, Hideyoshi yelled at Gota. Of course, the culprit who had killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let out some of his emotions by hating someone he could see. Yeah.
I am fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Gota-san wasn't thorough when locking up, or someone let Battler-san and Maria-san in after they came back from the guest house, and then forgot to lock up afterwards. Or that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. They might have come in much earlier and hid until late at night for all we know. I can understand that you might want to suspect certain people, but please calm down.
Our guest is right. Culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant, who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take the initiative now and regain our composure. Anarchy. Everyone feels just as sad and devastated. And none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure.
He's right. I still have George. Carl's Nissan still has Jessica-chan. Rudolph-kun, you still have Angie-chan waiting for you to return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers.
The culprit is still on this island, and we can't be sure that this tragic crime is over. We can stay calm and prevent any further tragedies.
Erica's words softly consoled them, and gently admonished them. If a student said the same thing, Rudolph would probably have jumped on him. However, since it come from the lips of the guest, a neutral party, it seemed to reach their ears.
Let's stay cool. We have 3 grown men with us and guns as well. Judging by the pattern of the murders, the chances of the culprit having a gun are low. In other words, as long as we keep our heads, the culprit will no longer have any way to touch us.
She's right. We can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island. Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island. There's only so many places they can take shelter from the rain in.
The town is larger than you think. Unfortunately, it'd be difficult to search the island with this many people. After all, if you found the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot as you are now. If the frightened culprit has run into the deep forest, you won't find them easily.
Right. We should just wait for the typhoon to pass. Have the boat call the police for us and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. That forest might be deep, but they'll definitely smoke the culprit out.
The most important thing now is to make sure no more of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what will happen to Angie-chan back home? Kyrie, Battler. Damn it. Damn it! I never had a chance to tell you the truth.
Now, son, everyone in the cousin room is extremely agitated right now. If you've regained your composure, I'm sure that will help them relax a lot. Would you mind heading up there?
Good point. We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next.
Please go up with him, Genji-san, and Goda-san. I'm sure that Shannon-san, Kanon-san, and Kumasawa-san are all very agitated.
Yes! I'm sure everyone is quite agitated.
Are you certain? Is there anything else we may help with?
So I want you to go with Kraus-san. I want you there to help him if something happens. Like for the rest of us to check and see if that everything's locked up there. Here, we'll head up soon, so please go on ahead.
Understood. If you need anything else, please call us.
Genji bowed and Kraus nodded. Kraus also nodded to Erika, then headed up to the second floor with Genji and Goda. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it's easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even with the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erika waited to get rid of the servants for the time being. Wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, let's get to checking the locks.
Our problem's gonna be the big window in the lounge. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we won't be able to stop them from coming in.
Don't worry, the sound of the glass smashing will be more than enough warning. We'll turn them to Swiss cheese.
Quiet, please. I didn't have you stay down here to check the doors and windows. Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say.
When Erika lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hideyoshi realized that she wanted to talk about something secret. So they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure.
Listen up. This crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In a tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. Can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the layout of the mansion well. Inside and out.
Well...
Well, if they didn't know what the inside... If they didn't know the inside well... What?
A short while ago, they had attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they'd only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up, and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They hadn't considered that one of the servants, they knew so well, would have taken those lives with their own hands. No, they hadn't wanted to think that. People can easily suspect someone they know well. Can't easily suspect someone they know well. Blah, 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 blah. They know well of being the culprit. Being a culprit.
At the time of the crime, the mansion was locked from the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there.
So Anarchy killed Kyrie and the others? Or am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi Nissan? It's impossible! Unthinkable!
I never even considered suspecting Krasny-san or Rudolph Kuhn. All the siblings have had excellent relationship with their spouses. True, the Yoshiramiya family may be strict with discipline and money. That doesn't mean we treasure our own families less than anyone else.
Yes, of course. I believe that. I wouldn't dream that any of you would kill your own wives.
Erika had already received red truth proof from Battler that they were not the murderers, so there's no need to argue that point. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. None of those 4 were the killer. And yet, Erika said this.
However, what about Goda-san? He was in the waiting room the whole time during the family conference, in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing.
It's a little early to suspect Goda-san. Goda-san came to bring us drinks in the dining hall during the break. He wasn't with us for quite some time.
He was with us.
He was with us. He couldn't have had the time to kill 6 people.
However, he might have been able to let the actual killer into the mansion.
Precisely. Goda-san probably didn't kill them himself. However, it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer into the mansion.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family. Even the wife of the siblings would be considered family. If the siblings hated each other, it was impossible to hate each other's wives enough to kill them. Eva and Rosa were two of the siblings, but none of the others could have had any reason to kill Natsuhi, Kyrie, Battler, or the young Maria. But to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were all a little more than complete strangers.
I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims are familiar with them, and there were no signs of a fight in any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance at any of those places. Blah, 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 blah.
I was thinking that too. Figured Kyrie was used enough to fight so that she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. That woman wouldn't hesitate to bite your finger off. Does make more sense if the culprit was someone she knew, so suddenly attacked when her guard was down.
Come to think of it, the same goes for my Eva. She knows a dozen kind of martial... Man, I'm doing bad. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been killed off so easily.
Then what about Rosa-san in the parlor? Do you think that she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting, while she had only her daughter with her? And this tells us something else that was important.
Something important?
The culprit isn't just one person, right?
You're right. Rosa-san and Maria-chan were in the parlor. If they hadn't both been killed at the same time, there wouldn't have been an uproar. Would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, there can't be just one of them.
When it comes to Maria-chan, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see, so it had to be someone who wouldn't rouse Rosa's suspicion until the last second.
Now we see that the idea of an unknown outsider sneaking in onto this island is actually the less realistic option. The culprit is someone familiar with the island, and there's more than one.
The culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erica's reasoning pointed clearly at the ones that they should suspect and guard themselves against.
So, you suspect the servants?
Yes. Under the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious. The second reason to suspect them is the closed room with the chain locks.
Why do the chain locks make them suspicious?
What if there was no chain lock on the closed rooms?
And they wouldn't be closed rooms. With a single master key, anyone can make them.
I see. The servants had to seal them with the chain so that they wouldn't be suspected.
Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. Turn it around if the chains weren't set. They wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys.
So, the only ones with something to gain from setting the change are the servants.
I'm not trying to protect them or anything, but if so, how did they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside?
Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard this story? Apparently some mailmen who deliver to apartment mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Apartment mailboxes often have a similar adjoining box. Oh god. Apartment mailboxes often have similar adjoining boxes around them for the nearby room numbers. I hear they sometimes accidentally deliver letters to the next room over if they weren't careful.
These mailboxes are almost always locked. If you put the mail onto the wrong one, you have no way of getting it out. In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of the mailbox about their mistake. Have that person unlock the mailbox for them and retrieve the improperly delivered mail. However, the resident of that apartment would often be out, and going through the process would be a real pain. Because of that, some mailmen would make a little tool out of wire with a loop at the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox.
I've heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. Seems they'd sometimes get drunks who locked themselves in the bathroom and fell asleep. So to get them out of there, they'd stick a thin metal tool through the crack in the door and undo the latch.
Exactly. All industries have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened. It wouldn't be particularly surprising if the servants of a mansion had something of the sort.
Good point.
Once you figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. Yeah, we can't be sure that it's impossible.
True, physically speaking. One couldn't say for sure that there existed absolutely no way to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chain locks allow for the door to be opened a crack. If you stuck something through the crack, you should be able to manage it easily. It was very natural for them to think that. However, Erica knew better. Though it might be possible in reality, the Red Truth had already declared that these closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet, Erica was guiding their thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed the closed rooms, with an air of solemnly revealing some crucial points. She steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, it was a detective technique for tricking suspects. Blah, 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 blah. I plan to tell Krauss-san what I've told you. I'm not saying that this is all the servants are culprits. However, it's very likely that one of them is a culprit or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart and have people with guns keep an eye on them. Rudolph and Hideyoshi looked at each other again. Was she saying that what she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With her accomplished conversation techniques, Erica was cleverly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree. What do you think, everyone?
Alright, I'm taking pee break.
I'm also going to be taking an AP break. So here we will go ahead and shift to for a moment, so I can go ahead and use the restroom, talk amongst yourselves for the time being.
So how's everyone liking the murder?
I have to admit,
Oh god,
I kind of
fuck.
lost the plot for like the last 5 minutes. Did anything like really important happen?
A lot.
I have a backup for when Kaneko comes back. I'll just send it to you when she does. Oh, looks like she is.
Oh no. Oh no, not the jar. Gone, please.
Yeah, like I said in the chat, I sometimes have a really hard time keeping all of this stuff like together. Josh, if you're saying something, we can't hear you.
What, me?
Oh, your light was blinking.
Oh no, I was just, you're probably hearing keyboard shit.
Were you doing that before?
Yeah, he's just been lighting up a little bit.
Yeah, I've been editing. I've been editing the silver case.
So basically, the only thing I missed was them just discussing how the murder happened.
In a macro sense, yes. But more the fact that Erica knows that she is positing a theory that is completely wrong to psychologically manipulate everyone.
Why would she do that?
Okay, I'm back.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
By the way, my original question of, like, why is this game going on, is that spoilers? Is that why?
The game is going on because it must.
So it is spoilers, okay.
Also, yeah, I also was having a very hard time keeping up with what was going on. Like, the moment they start labeling positions in the house, it's like, I'm out.
The positions are... You're giving any information that you need. If you're not given a map, it's because you don't need a map. Because the locations are not necessarily relevant.
Alright then.
And we're back.
Oh, also, I guess, no, I can give you this information, Shelly. By all technical standards, the last game ended in a tie, and in this game, if Battler wins, he's proving that he understood, like, Beato's game and things.
Oh, so it wasn't an outright victory, even.
It's ostensibly that it was a tie, but they're treating it as it was a tie, and they're going for a double or nothing sort of gambit.
And why is Battler going ahead with it? Just because he wants to beat them?
He needs to beat them in order to fully understand Beato, or does already fully understand Beato and is fighting for her sake.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then, if we are we're good to go, I'm going to return for regularly scheduled programming. Let's jam. Alrighty then. So Khan is muted. So whenever that settles. Fuck me.
So much for regular scheduled programming.
Now return. Actually, no, this is still pretty regular.
I mean, B is here. I mean, unless you want to wait for her so that she doesn't miss anything.
That's actually, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We can give her some time.
We can give her like a minute or two.
Kaneko's having some trouble just opening a jam jar. She wants to
did she
eat that
say that?
jam.
It's technically an art project she was doing, and she accidentally oversprayed the matte spray.
Oh.
Tragedy, really.
Wait, did
I
she
mean, we
say
don't
that?
know that it wasn't a jam jar.
Khan is really trying
Can you say it in red?
She was doing an art project about a painted water.
Well, guys, if Khan doesn't get here in the next 5 minutes, we're just gonna start this case again.
Oh my god.
No.
By the way, guys, so this is not the Blue Yeti. It's yet another one of my endless headsets. Is this an acceptable audio quality?
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah, fine.
It's okay.
It's not, it's not as good. It's just like something from like 10 years ago, but it's comfy, so I
Oh,
wear
it's
it.
pretty good. I think it's fine. I didn't even notice.
Did I just waste $100 on
Oh,
that
hey.
I
microphone?
noticed.
She's back.
I mean, I still wanted it
Everybody on set?
because.
Who's
Oh, okay,
back?
we're
Let's
we're
go.
going. Never mind. We are
I'm
starting.
back.
We're,
Let's keep
like,
it
talking.
going, baby.
Just putting mate on my water bottle painting.
All right, let's go.
So, how is it playing on the witch's side?
It feels strange. I think that the witch's side had such a huge advantage. But now that I'm on that side, I see that that's ridiculous. It's only that game where you stick knives in a barrel and try to stab the mustache guy inside. From the perspective of the human side, it feels like trying to shoot at a target hidden by mist. But from the witch's viewpoint, a stray shot might hit and become fatal.
The old me played games like that all the time.
Yeah, it's almost like Russian roulette. Even so, you'd believe that I'd eventually notice, and stretch those games out to the limit.
It may be impudent of me to ask, but just what is it that you notice, Battler-san? At the very end of your games with the old me.
It was a strange question. You know, in the past, Beato had always been the one posing it to Battler. Now that Battler had figured it out, Beato was the one asking it to him. The roles have been completely flipped, haven't they? In the past, only you remembered, and I forgot. Only I forgot. This time it's the other way around. Only I remembered, and only you have forgotten.
Would you mind telling me what it is?
Telling you would be easy. But I don't want to tell you. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to believe in a miracle for myself. A bit. I just want to believe in a miracle for a bit myself.
A miracle?
Yes. This was the single miraculous seed that Battler had left behind. If Beato could remember a certain something without being told, that would prove that Beato had truly revived. So he wouldn't tell her. It was Battler's final seed, which existed because he still couldn't abandon his hopes for Beato's revival.
If you can't tell me, then I won't ask. If I have displeased you, please forgive me.
Don't worry about it. I just never know when to give up. As she watched that sad smile, Beato's chest tightened. He was looking at her and seeing me older.
Yes, I must become my former self, for his sake. My older sister who gets burned by spider webs, and I who don't must become one. Surely it's more useful to him if I go on a journey to find myself now, than if I simply watch over his game. How do you feel about this game? Do you think you can win?
I intend to win. I'll win. And I'll win and end this eternal torture. Just like Beato wanted.
When it ends, what will happen to the world?
Who knows? I wonder. However, that's what we wished for. So, no matter what the result is, I'll accept it.
What will happen to me?
Beato was uncertain. Even since she was probably no more than a piece in this game. If the game ended, then would she, one who had been born out of the game's rules, disappear? This game will probably disappear. But now I completely understand magic. So I'll be able to carry you off the game board. I think that was your wish.
My wish?
The rest is a secret. I'll be waiting for a miracle. You'd remember all that on your own. After smiling bitterly for a second, Battler laughed and told not to worry. Apparently it was best if she avoided talking to Battler about her previous self. Well then, I'll go check out my opponent for a bit. I can't wait to see what kind of twisted logic that idiot thinks up next.
The old Battler did a lot of that too. My favorite was the one from the first Twilight of the second game, when you said the culprit killed everyone by feeding them small bombs.
The highlights of my dark past. Please forget that ever happened, as fast as you can.
Yes, I will try.
Battler became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. Beto kept bowing until he disappeared completely. To fill his place, a single gold butterfly appeared and became Beto the Elder.
Did you call for me, little sister?
Yes. I want to know more about you. And I want to know what the real me is like. I want to become like that.
Of course, I also want to know about my future self. Didn't we reveal everything about ourselves to each other for that purpose? However, we did not become one. I cannot understand what we must do to become our single self.
What can we do to become one?
I have high hopes for the trials of Zepar and Furfur.
You mean the miracle of magic given to the victors?
I wonder if that magical miracle means becoming one. I will find my true form. You will fulfill Battler's wishes. Battler will be overjoyed too, so all three of us will have what we want.
This is a trial, right?
It means we cannot lose to the other two pairs.
George-san and Shannon-san, Jessica-san and Cannon-san. I can only grasp happiness by trampling over them.
The conditions apply to all of us. If one of the others succeeds in love, the other two groups, including you, will be trampled over.
Why must the scales be so tilted, I wonder?
Tilted?
Some people will find love, others won't. In that case, you can put those two groups on a scale. However, the scale for our trial have 3 plates, and 2 must lose for 1 to win. That seems horribly skewed.
Who knows? It might mean that successful love is worth 2 destroyed loves. You're too insecure, little sister. If you can't put your desire to answer Battler's expectations before your uncertainty over what happens to the losers, you won't be able to win anything.
You're right. I won't give up our victory. I don't like doing this to the others, but there will be no hard feelings between us and them. If I do lose, I'll give my strongest blessings to whichever of the lovers wins. So I'll fight with all my heart and soul, so that I have no lingering regrets. And I'll win that miracle of magic. How was it? did the red and blue shootout over the first twilight go?
We started by testing the waters. Battler seemed pretty eager, too.
She had just come back from a fierce fight with Battler, where she had gathered information by making demands for the red text. It was the old familiar kind of fight reminiscent of what the red text had first appeared. When the red text had first appeared. Or when the use of the blue truth was first permitted. Blue text.
And the result?
First, in all cases, it was the victims themselves that constructed the closed rooms. Also, those closed rooms were perfectly preserved until Krause's group broke them open. Also, I confirmed that during the period, all sorts of interference from the outside were impossible.
Erica reported this proudly, as though it had been a great battle, but Bernkastel looked bored as she listened. After looking at her blankly for a second, Delta spoke her opinions frankly.
Wait a second. Doesn't that mean this closed room murder was perfect?
What?
The victims had sealed the closed rooms themselves, and the closed rooms had been preserved until Krause and the others broke them open. And no one had been inside the closed rooms except for the victims. And Krause's group, the ones who had broken the rooms open, were not the culprits. In this way, she had managed to win several little red truths like these. Normally, simply collecting such vital information would have been enough. However, the Master Witch, tired with boredom, had expected a much more flashy, argument-winning victory instead of this bland result.
However, this time, I don't detect his authority, so there's a chance I messed up when examining the corpses. So if we suppose that a drug that mimics death was used to fool my examination,
You mean Pura Picopia?
No, not that! It is impossible for certain well-known drugs, such as insulin, to bring about a temporary state of that mimics death. Battle did not counter with that with the red truth. In other words, my blue truth worked! I think we've started with the victory!
To sum up Erica's report, all she had done was listen to the red truths Ballard wanted her to hear. All the information Ballard wanted out there had been shown, and she hadn't been able to strike at any weak points. She was like a kid who had gone out shopping, then forgotten her job and only brought candy. However, this is all the players on the human side could do. Without a detective's proclamation, she could only fight by collecting dull bits of information like that. However, her master had been expecting more than that sort of dull fight. So she tried to give her report energetically, to make it seem as though they were in a superior position. But no matter how hard she tried, no matter how much she tried, the cold expression of her master remained merciless.
Your blue truth worked. If he didn't cut it down, it's probably because it was just too stupid. You call yourself a great detective with reasoning like that?
I could try to examine the corpses with care, to the best of my abilities. However, I don't know the detective's authorities, so we can't be certain.
Wait a second, weren't you the one who decided not to make the detective proclamation? Didn't you say that you wanted to raise the stakes to make up for your disgrace last time?
Well,
What's wrong? Are you saying you can't win against Battler without the detective's authority?
That's not true, my master. I can't easily defeat an incompetent like that. Without the detective's authority. It's just the style of fighting is a little different from what I'm used to, and I haven't got the hang of it yet.
As far as humans go, Erica was quite talented. Her knowledge and power of memory and insight were ahead of the pack. It's likely that no human was more well-suited as a detective than her. However, no matter how much of an advantage she might have over other people, that didn't matter in the witch's game. In the witch's game, it's either 0 or 100. In other words, everything is either the red truth, or it isn't. If a normal human being was worth a 10, her exceptional power would probably rate her a 99. However, it could never be 100. Since it wasn't 100, it couldn't be absolutely certain. So it didn't count as red truth. For example, the examination of the corpses that Erica had worried over in the fight just now. She performed it with the detective's authority. She could have said with 100% certainty whether they were alive or dead. However, without the detective's proclamation, it was still 99. There was a 1% chance that she'd make a mistake, and that overturned the foundation of the examination. Erica had gained the detective's authority, and had become the Witch of Truth, because Bernkastel had supplemented her talent of 99 with an additional 1. Simply because Bernkastel wouldn't give her that 1, in the world of witches, Erica's 99 was treated exactly the same as 0. She couldn't even use her great assistant Delvanor without a power of 100. When working under an Erica who had lost the detective's authority, Delanor's red longsword lost its power. Delanor was also irritated that she couldn't provide full assistance. She tried several times to convince Erica to use the detective's proclamation, but Erica had stubbornly refused each time.
Now just do it. Make that detective proclamation. If you do, you'll be unstoppable. Delanor could even use her red longsword in the Nox Decalogue.
Why not do it? If you want?
No. There's no need for anyone to explain. By now it was clear that Erica hadn't abandoned the detective's proclamation by her own will.
When Battler reached the truth during the previous round, this game was already finished. This isn't really the 6th game. It's just a finale so that Battler can have a chance to serve as Game Master at the end. The result was already decided last game.
Yeah, pretty much. The games won't continue forever, and I've already lost my bet with Byrne. In this game, Battler will prove that he's reached the game's truth. And then Beata's game will be destroyed in a big victory for the human side. And a big victory for Byrne, too. Well, supposedly, but she looked unsatisfied for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied. I didn't want such a boring victory.
The victory you did want had Beato's game board being torn to bits. And Beato's true, pathetic form exposed, humiliated, and trampled on. But this victory of Battler's isn't quite like that, is it?
All this about love and promises. He wants to end the game quietly and let her sleep in peace. That sort of ending would make anyone vomit. I didn't give Battler all that advice so he could end things like that. I had his little sister turn to scrap meat behind his back. I had his parents and family killed horribly over and over again. That was all to spark a desire for revenge against Beato. And now, what kind of ending is this? Have I won? Of course not. Battler's gotten his hands on a victory that neither you nor I can stand. I had to withstand a staggering period of boredom just to come all the way out to this backwoods territory. Just so that I could see Beatrice lamely and pathetically torn to bits. I didn't come here to sip from a rotten yogurt fragment like this.
Aw, your angry face is wonderful too, Byrne. I see, so this is why you wanted to straighten things out for yourself at least once at the end.
It's all the fault of this moron piece screwing up all the time in the last game. Because of you, this game board looked like it'd been fun for the first time in thousands of years. all been wasted! Filth. Trash. Scum!
My apologies, my master. I'll definitely bring you a victory. So please forgive me.
If you couldn't win with the detective's authority in the last game, how do you expect to defeat Battler now that he's the game master? You don't have a chance at winning even with the detective's authority. So why bother with it?
True. If you can't win anyway, then the detective's proclamation isn't necessary. The lack will just make your loss all the more certain.
And therefore, if you manage to win in this even worse situation, that would be a miracle worthy of me. If and only if you can do that, I will be able to forgive you.
Yes. I will surely show you that miracle.
Like hell you can, scum. All you can do is thoroughly expose your wretched self in a horrible punishment game. With your only weapons taken away from you. And through it all, you'll still roll over playfully. And beg to keep me entertained, scum.
Sounds like you're having fun. Am I getting in the way? Gold butterflies gathered in the darkness and took the shape of Battler. Though he had just arrived, he seemed to know what the mood was dark.
Ah, Battler. I had a look at your first twilight. Quite impressive closed rooms. I'm sure you're even more talented than Beato.
Just a rehash of the closed rooms Beato made in the past. It's like it to be a compliment for Beato.
It seems like your fight with Erica wasn't bad either. Think your serial murders will move along smoothly?
Who knows? Our role isn't to carry out serial murders. It's to use that process to show you closed rooms that are impossible without magic. And thereby achieve victory for the witch side, and prove that I've fully understood this game. No, there's one more thing.
What?
To settle things with Erica. After that, evenly matched duel we acted out last time.
Battler.
Evenly matched?
Burncastle noticeably grimaced. Erica averted her eyes and hung her head timidly. I know what you'd like to say. That wasn't a draw. We should have won easily, so it counts as a loss.
Hey. It's not polite to eavesdrop.
Look at the mirror. It's right all over your faces.
No way. Where? Hey, what's going on? If you tell me it's written in ink only morons can't see, then death, super death for you.
Delta pulled a mirror out of thin air, then looked at it and jumped around angrily. She was apparently pretending to be stupid in her own special way. Erica.
What is it?
That final fierce attack you and Delano made in the last game was spectacular.
Thanks.
What happened to Delano this time? Are you by yourself?
No. I have been waiting here.
Delano had just been standing around in reserve, hiding her presence in the dark shadows.
Well, when she can't use her red longsword, Delano's just useless scum. There's no point having her around, so she's just hanging back.
All I can do now is record Lady Erica's reasoning.
Why won't you fight with her? Why can't you just use that longsword, the red longsword? Erica's reasoning, and your longsword. Those were strong because they worked together. Delanor didn't answer. She just glanced at Berncastle's expression for an instant. However, that glance was the same as a clear answer to Battler now. Battler fully recognized the situation. You're the one who told Erica not to use the detective proclamation.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
This fight between me and Erica. We're gonna fight with all we've got. Then we'll be able to accept it whether we win or lose. There's no need for a mastermind behind the scenes like you.
Come now, I'm no mastermind. I'm just a theater-goer trying to relieve her boredom.
A theater-goer is someone who sits quietly in the stands and watches. It's not what we call someone who jeers at the stage and threatens or manipulates the performers.
Sorry for being an ill-mannered audience. You might not know it, but I've already paid a huge admission fee to watch this play. Sorry, but I intend to enjoy it until I get my money's worth.
If you get in the way of the game's progression, I can use my authority as the game master to boot you out of this game.
If you want to, go ahead. If you can chase me out, then I'll head back with my piece, Erica. This game will be cancelled, and you won't be able to prove that you've reached the truth. A theater-goer is an observer. A truth with no observers is the same as an illusion. You need a theater-goer as a witness until Beato's game ends.
No truth only needs to pass between the two of us. If you get in the way of any further, I will boot you out by force. You can writhe around in boredom for a few centuries until you find another way to kill time.
Then go ahead and do that! Erica, this game is over. Good work. You were completely useless. You weren't able to overturn the dishonor of your loss, so as promised, I'll throw you into the worst fragment. I'll toss you into the depths of oblivion with the empty popcorn buckets.
My master! I will win. I'll win no matter what. So please let me fight Battler until the end. I don't want to lose or get thrown into the depths of oblivion.
You know what I want to watch until the end, right? But Battler says he'll toss me out. Hey, what'll you do, Lambda?
Well, I realize you've been irritated since the last game, Burn, but calm down a bit. And Battler, don't provoke Burn so much. This kid can't control her emotions sometimes.
Shut up. Who can't control her emotions?
Berncastle, who never showed any expression at all at one point in time, now twisting her face into all kinds of displeased and ugly shapes. When Lambda Delta made fun of that, Berncastle clicked her tongue and looked away. As they say, nothing could stop poison but poison. Lambda Delta was the only one who could rein Berncastle in.
Erica, you wanna fight Battler and clear your name and get Burn back into a good mood, right?
Yes.
Battler, you wanna quickly and neatly end this final game. So that you can prove that you found the truth, right?
Yeah. This is a face-up between me and Erica. Won't let anyone get in my way. But won't let anyone get in Erica's way either.
Battler?
If you both wish to fight, then that should be respected. Leave Burn to me. I'm the only one in the world who can calm that kid when she gets in a bad mood.
Yeah, the same sort as there. At least he could be reasoned with.
You shouldn't underestimate me. I just like seeing Burn grimace. That's why I've taken a liking to this game of yours. If you think I'm easy to handle, you're apt to get burned, okay?
Huh.
Eleanor can't use her red longsword because the detective proclamation hasn't been made. If Erica makes it, she'll regain her power right away, right? Yes. When that happens, forgive me.
Erica,
What?
make the detective proclamation.
No.
Do you think you can beat me as I am now with a detective? Do you really think you can beat me as I am now with a detective's authority?
When?
Lord Battler. Lady Erica is herself a piece. She cannot disobey her master's orders. All she can do is gather the power she has and fight for survival.
And Eleanor, your power can't be used at all with a detective's proclamation.
I need permission before unsheathing the red key. One form of that permission is the detective proclamation.
Are there any other ways of getting that permission?
What are you saying? If you're doing this out of pity for me, that's none of your business.
Quiet. You're so flimsy by yourself that it's boring. Be quiet, detective who isn't a detective.
The red key is infinitely similar to the red truth. If and only if I am given a truth, I am permitted to draw my sword for items that pertain to it.
What do you mean by a truth?
For example, there are Lady Erica's packaging tape seals.
Ah, those.
Lady Bernkenstell has already acknowledged that those seals are equivalent in value to the red truth. Therefore, I am permitted to draw the key, at least for truths pertaining to those seals.
Those caused me a lot of trouble last time. So I had all the sticky packing tape removed from the game board this time around.
A splendid move.
Erica was proud to be able to call herself the detective, wasn't she?
Yes. Though her only goal was to irresponsibly solve riddles, it was a matter of pride for her.
Then she must really be suffering now that she can't make the proclamation.
Only she could tell you that.
Balin took a deep breath and hung his head and thought for a time. Erica was his enemy. She was the player on the human side, and without her, there would be no game. It had been the same with the old Beato. Balin only had one-sidedly viewed Beato as an enemy. However, though Beato had thought of him as her opponent, she hadn't considered him an enemy on a personal level. In accordance with the rules, I must fight my rival ruthlessly. However, that doesn't mean I need to hate Erica herself. I won't misunderstand Beato's game. Erica! You're free to choose not to make the detective's proclamation. In that case, go and fight with just your power as a human.
I'm ready to do that from the start.
However, you have talented allies. Eleanor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. You aren't alone. You have allies.
Yeah, but they're unreliable, powerless, and useless scum.
Eleanor. Just like I was supported by Virgilia and Ronave in the past, Erica needs support as well. Enough repeated experience that playing for the human side is tough.
Yes. I will assist her with all the power I possess.
Understood.
Now that it is our job.
And you can't even use the red truth.
Erica, I will give power, Not to you, but to your allies.
Huh? What do you think you're doing? Rather die than receive your pity.
3 people. Delanor, Gertrude, and Cornelia. Erica. I'll let you use 3 rooms worth of those packing tape seals. To fully seal one room, multiple seals would be needed to cover all the doors and windows. If he had said 3 seals, it would only have been possible to fully seal 1 room at best. So Battler was generous and limited them by rooms instead of by seal.
Lord Battler.
As the Game Master, I also acknowledge that these seals have the same effect as the Red Truth. That way, you'll also be able to wield that red longsword in a fight surrounding those. Right?
Yes. But are you certain?
Winning against Erica when she listed a detective is hardly a victory. If Erica's upping the stakes, then I should have the right to do the same.
Phew, what a man. Aren't you lucky, Erica? Now you can use a bit of red without making the detective proclamation and irritating your master.
You'll regret this. I'll use those 3 seals and kill you, no matter what.
Perfect. Coming to kill me. Though it was only for 3 rooms, it was the Red Truth that Erica desperately wanted. Now she probably had enough leeway to fight as she pleased. She ground her teeth at being pitied by Battler, but her tears were not those of shame.
Understood. 3 rooms worth of packaging tape seals accepted. Regarding this matter, should we consider them as being accepted retroactively back when Lady Erica received the non-sticky packaging tape from Mrs. Kumasawa?
Erica had borrowed packing tape for Kurosawa to make seals with. However, Battler made it so that those weren't sticky. Yeah. If you ruled that there had been any problems with the stickiness of that packing tape, the transition could be made smoothly. Sure, that's fine. I'll rewrite the tale. The packing tape that Erica received from Kurosawa-san late at night on the first twilight was sticky. The first day was sticky. There's only enough left to use on 3 rooms. I'll apply that from here on out.
Understood. Lady Erica will also retroactively adjust her movements starting before the discovery of the first twilight and taking into account that the application of this privilege is now possible. As soon as these changes affect the progression of the game, they will be reported to the Game Master.
Letting you do it retroactively, even though you know which rooms the crimes will occur in, that gives you a pretty big advantage. You don't have to waste tape on the other rooms.
It seems you've grown quite arrogant since becoming Game Master. Isn't it fun to give out charity to your pathetic opponents?
Quiet. And don't misunderstand. I'm not being arrogant or soft here. Erica, use this weapon and come at me with all you've got. I'll crush you with all I've got. So hold your head up high and use those 3. That is all. Battler made to leave the room with the flick of his cape. As he did, he thought he heard Erica let out a strained voice, calling him to a stop. What is it? If you have no business with me, I'm going. Make sure you talk with Delanor. Don't listen to those obnoxious witches, whatever they tell you. As long as I'm on this game board, I won't let them do whatever they please.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll fight with all I've got. I'll come at you with all my strength, so I'll defeat you no matter what. So if you do win against me, please crush me with all your strength. Please, don't leave a scrap behind.
Understood. And don't you go easy on me. This is the final game. I'm playing to prove that Beato that I've reached the truth. By now, who wins and loses doesn't affect that goal. So I just want to accept you as a rival and settle this. In this game, let's respect each other over everything as enemies. But as fellow players, let's trust each other. That's how this game is supposed to be played.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Battler melted into the darkness, became a cloud of gold butterflies, and vanished. Erica remained behind, sobbing.
Just kidding. Jeez, you're a damn stupid man. You totally fell for it and gave me the tape. I, Naruto Erica, have packing tape.
I'd imagine that the same person who had been sobbing pathetically and this person were now the same. That's how vile her face contorted to be. The two witches were also cackling with ugly smiles.
I totally understand. When you become Game Master, it feels like you've become God, and you get all sure of yourself.
It was the same for you, Lambda. Of course you'd lose after leaving a stupid mistake like walking corpses alone. Stupid Game Masters, stupid mistakes, stupid pride, stupid losses, stupid battlers, stupid everything.
Stupid losses, stupid battler, stupid everything. Has a nice ring to it. Nice one, my master. Stupid battler, stupid everything, stupid battler, stupid everything.
If that stupid battler really thinks Erica's at a disadvantage, then I really pity him. A detective proclamation isn't what you need to kill a moron.
Death by falling on a piece of tofu.
It'd have to be soft tofu, too.
Add some gochujang chili paste and you've got a snack that'd go great with some wine.
The three giggled together. It had all been an act to get the packing tape for the seals from Battler. The packing tape that had tormented him so much in the last game was unusable in this one. He had fallen for Erica's act, and she had gotten what she wanted, though just 3 rooms worth. The illusion that Erica had an overwhelming disadvantage was just an act. A trap to trick Battler and make him hand over the packing tape.
With this, I can kill Battler perfectly. I figured out those pathetic closed rooms long ago. A perfect closed room. Dumbass! I'll show you a real perfect closed room. And I can almost cry for joy at the fact that you gave me the weapon that'll finish you. My master, Little in the Delta. Thank you so much for going along with this act.
It was fun. No need to thank me.
Plus, it wasn't an act.
Burn Castleton said something that was probably disturbing, but in her good mood, Eric didn't care a bit. That pudding for brains moron thinking he does something.
That pudding for brains moron thinking he done something so noble. I'll make you regret it. All right. Let's use these seals at our leisure. You did great too, Dillanor. Seems that Battler trusts you, so he believed every word you said. Don't tell me your conscience is hurting, you little murder doll.
No.
Dylan looked at Erica in a slightly lonely way. After shaking her head slightly, her gaze turned hard, and she looked at the darkness Battler disappeared into.
You should have known this was a no-holds-barred fight. How foolish, Lord Battler. This is, without a doubt, the results of your pride. Mr. Battler, this will be fatal. So far, so good for Verb?
Yeah, all the levers clearly possess a strong will.
This is a victory for love.
that we shall extol.
Everyone had gotten used to those two overdramatic demons. George spoke quietly with an annoyed expression.
We'll
extol.
We'll only extol after we've passed your trial and someone's been given the miracle of magic.
I agree. We've all passed the first trial. What's next? I won't hold back anymore. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yes, we won't lose.
We won't lose either.
Yeah. And of course, the same goes for Battlekun's group.
Of course. I doubt anyone here is so naive that they'd hope to win by having others forfeit.
Right. Anyone weak enough to drop out would have no right to be here right now.
Even Beato, who seemed to be the shakiest one of the six, was strongly determined. The two demons nodded at each other, taking note of the six's continued resolve.
Say what? So, what's the next trial? Don't tell me you still haven't decided.
Well, we thought at least some of you would drop out.
We didn't think you'd all remain. What a happy, miraculous miscalculation due to love.
Shut up! So? Are we going to play musical chairs or something to make sure someone drops out?
Yes,
Precisely that.
we've decided to have this trial eliminate one group no matter what.
This trial is the second trial of the epitaph.
Tear apart the...
Two who are close.
I don't get it.
Separisima, Verissima, what sort of trial is this? Do you mean we're going to kill each other?
That'd settle things quickly.
No, it's not exactly civilized.
Love is for carnivores. I guess we can't all just find happiness together, can we?
This is what they call a zero-sum game. There's an economic world. No, it's an economic word, but maybe you've heard of it?
No. My apologies.
Zero-sum game. The victory and loss all cancel out to end up with zero. In order for someone to win, someone else must be forced to lose. It's the ruthless way of the world.
If only everyone could be happy. But there's no way an ideal world like that could exist.
No, there is. That is the Golden Land.
The Golden Land? What are you talking about?
That's right. If you reach the Golden Land, all love will be satisfied. However, like heaven and hell, that's not a place in this world.
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. Love has meaning because we find it in this world. I can never support a sad lover's double suicide, where they're only united after death. I'll stick to my love in life. I won't lose to anyone.
George-san.
The door to the Golden Land can be opened by solving the epitaph's riddle. In that place, love and lives are all whole and can be revived. But...
We're straying from the point. Let's hear about the second trial now.
Right. What are you trying to make us do with this tear apart the two who are close thing?
It's quite simple.
The only possible way to tear apart Tularis is by the sad farewell of death.
The second trial involves killing one of the 6.
Of course, any lover with their partner killed is disqualified.
In short, one group of lovers must fail during this trial.
You said kill so easily. What exactly are we supposed to do?
You can just fight to the death.
Or you can decide by lottery of some sort.
Like hell, we choose by drawing lots. Let's have a fair and square duel.
Though if we do that, I imagine Battlerkun, the Game Master, and Beatrice, who is the Golden Witch, even though her memory is gone, will have a substantial advantage.
Well, I wonder about that.
Don't worry. For this trial, we have made everyone's powers equal.
Even the Game Master Lord Battler is taking this trial in even footing with everyone else.
In that case, it's fair.
Is it completely and purely on even footing?
Yes, it's perfectly even.
In a one-on-one matchup, victory will be decided by luck.
It's perfectly even.
So it will probably take some time before it's settled.
So, is this the trick to attack when you're in a superior position, I wonder?
Deals that take time are, of course, wonderful.
Why would anyone leave it up to luck? Of course we want to fight in a situation to our advantage. In that case, a three-way struggle? Won't that mean we're stuck?
Beata was the first to notice. If the 6 were truly on even footing and both willing and capable of winning, one pair would have to concentrate their attack on a single person. If that happened, then the pair containing their target would, of course, band together and resist. In other words, it would never be 2 against 1. It would become 2 against 2, and a matter of luck. However, at that time, any third pair who happened to be watching this could team up with whichever pair they liked with no risk to themselves, defeating the opposing pair with certainty. Blah, 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 blah.
Sounds troublesome. It means that moving first is disadvantageous.
If you stop forward and fight, it's a matter of luck. If you sit and wait for the others to start fighting, it's a certain victory. A fight would never begin in this situation.
Maybe we could just have everyone fight with the person next to them one-on-one. Then, as soon as one fight is settled, the trial of love will be over.
As everyone could abandon any naive hopes for a 2-on-1 fight, the trial would never begin and never end. In that case, they made a gentleman's agreement and everyone duel at once. It would be no different from drawing lots, but it would at least be even.
That doesn't work. If you do that, everyone will just defend instead of fighting proactively. All they need to do is wait for someone to lose before they do.
Shannon's point was a sound one. If both fighters just glared at each other without attacking, then neither would lose. All they did was wait for someone other than themselves to lose first. This brought them back to the starting point. No one would fight proactively.
In the end, no one will move and nothing will be resolved.
Since there's this arithmetical situation. Arithmetical arithmet. Fuck, how do I say
Fuck
that?
it,
Oh my
fuck
God.
it, it's math, who cares?
Mathematical.
Arithmetical.
Arithmetical situation where we all have the same strength. It's almost like a puzzle.
True. It would have been interesting duel if our strengths were known. However, since we've been told that we're perfectly even, this duel is no different than rock, paper, scissors.
In that case, why not use rock, paper, scissors to decide it?
Are you crazy? I'm not gonna do that! Even if someone does lose, there's no way they'd accept their loss.
Cannon. Cannon? There we go.
Yes, I am fine. If they don't accept it, then they will be attacked by the 4 winners. In the world where all are equal, the losers will have no chance of surviving.
True. Well, now. Is rock, paper, scissors actually the most reasonable way to settle this?
It's extremely reasonable. However, if you ask me whether I'd be reckless enough to trust my fate to a random number generation, the answer is no.
Please do consider that problem.
This is the second trial we have for you.
Think and fight to the death.
Please decide who the sacrifice will be.
Perfect timing.
We finished right on time for once. Good job, everyone.
Damn.
We did it.
Good.
We did it.
Good.
The base.
Indeed.
With the base.
I fucking love that gif, guys. God damn it.
A small
Just
contradiction.
starts fucking dancing. Yeah.
Sorry.
Is this a Fortnite?
Alrighty then.
Very good.
Very
very good though.
I only have one thing to say. Fuck Erica! Fuck those lolly dolly witches!
I want to dunk her right into the trash can.
To be honest, fuck Battler for agreeing to let them power up. It's stupid.
Hey, he just wants an honest fight.
Battler isn't
He's like Goku.
Yeah,
Battler is not
wants to
Goku,
fight-
okay?
He just wants to fight Cell at his max potential, so he's
I'm gonna
just
slap
give him
all
a-
of you. Holy shit.
Come on!
Man.
I'm sorry about calling Erica Cell. Just fucking.
Even Arcantia must be destroyed. I'm quite confident in my packing tape, you know.
Erica would have a tail in the early stages that would go ahead and suck up everything.
I wish I could think of something to do the all these squares make a circle joke with Erica.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, no,
Battler-sama.
again, like I said in the chat, it is kind of frustrating that he's acting like Goku and just letting them have advantages when he could have just crushed them.
He is very easy
feel-
to manipulate with the tears of women.
I feel like Battler's smarter than that. I feel like he's setting something up.
I mean,
what I was
sure,
thinking.
but okay, you go, Con.
Sorry, that's just what I was thinking with all of that. Even if he did go ahead and fall for the deception, he could still be planning something. We don't know at this current point. But from the way he was acting, it could have been pride, it could have been setting something up, we don't know.
I feel like he genuinely fell for it. I can see him thinking of a way to turn this to an advantage.
Yeah. It could also just be that, though.
I'm genuinely curious how we get from here to the wedding.
Yeah,
I can't wait for
wedding
that.
at the beginning was something. That sure was a prelude.
Yeah.
One thing I was worried about is that was leading to showing that the witches somehow won, and that's why he's in this weird wedding situation.
Forced wedding situation.
So, should we wait to do thoughts, or should we just get right into
I
it?
mean, y'all just got into it, so go.
All right. Do you have more to say on that, or should I go through the notes?
I'm good.
All right. So, first note I put down. They mentioned that magic can only do what you can do with your own hands. Then how did that explain the crazy things that the redacted Beatrice name could do?
I just like it's what I put in the notes. The entire point of this magic stuff is just like Battler being completely unable to understand how the murders happened. Like the whole point of magic is just like I've said this for weeks. The whole point of magic in this story is that serial killers can make their actions look so impossible that it might as well be magic.
Yeah, but I still think we should look at the rules that they set up for their magic system, because, like, the Eva Beatrice, there, I said the name, you fuckers.
Finally, you said it. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop me from getting around it in text. So, she was able to, like, send people into the air and change reality and make it rain gun drops or whatever the hell it was. So, like, I'm wondering to what they meant by magic can only do what you can do with your own hands.
Allow me to speak. I believe that anything that's complete nonsense, like people flying or gumdrops or whatever, it's just like flavor text. It didn't really happen. That's my theory.
So I will translate that as you meaning it just matters what the outcome is. What people have seen.
I honestly thought it had to involve a bit of conviction on the human side if they want to go ahead and pursue or do the magic.
I mean, it is possible that the resurrection was just someone who wasn't really dead, and, you know...
Wait, resurrection?
The resurrection part, I think, was like Beatrice helped George resurrect someone or something? Or I kind of forgot how that went down.
That was Shannon.
Oh, I forgot about that. Also,
Yeah,
I think that was a ghost. Like, she didn't last.
Yeah, like, that either didn't happen, or it did happen. She, you know, they thought she was dead, she recovered, and then succumbed to her injuries later.
That could have been a possibility. I thought you were gonna go ahead and bring up how Angie seemingly brought Sakutaro back to life.
I mean, I just don't think there's a point to that, because, like, a talking teddy bear isn't real. It's just for flavor text, and it's... right?
I'm just gonna mark down my thought as it just probably mattered. They were probably just talking about the outcome.
It's... I'm just gonna let you go. I'm sorry, I've been saying a lot of stuff.
Simbard, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I was gonna ask, can somebody remind me exactly what the red truth about the number of people on the island is?
There is always at least 18 people on the island, however, Kinzo is always dead at the beginning of every game, so it's more like 17 people.
Wait, or is it? Like, is there not always 18 people on the island?
So the exact...
Kinzo doesn't count?
The updated version of this red truth is that there's no more than 17 people on this island.
Booyah.
Oh.
Yeah, Erica doesn't count.
My memory works!
Wait,
Yay!
she doesn't count?
This is
She
established...
does not count towards the total because she's never the killer, she is the detective.
Alright.
Also, this red truth was established at the end of episode 4. So there.
Trying to remember these is hard. Alright. So
Like,
you guys have more thoughts.
People dunk on me for, like, not remembering stuff, but there's so much shit to remember.
Shelly, I say repeatedly that I don't...
Why I took
Shelly,
notes.
I don't think any of us dunk on you for not remembering things.
Like, I think it was in the context that you thought I wasn't paying attention and playing Skyrim or something, but no, I can pay full attention to this, and sometimes I still get things confused.
I mean, Shelly, you said, like, that, like, a major character didn't really have much going for her, when she had extremely a lot, which you said was then a joke. Like, that was, like, the only thing I can think of.
What was that again?
Rosa.
Yeah, that was like the time I can remember being like, bruh, on that aspect.
Like that, like even
I think it was more like I was saying that I think it was something similar to, like, it was sort of a joke, but I played it up, but I think it was something similar to, like, Her character is a frustrated mom who wishes she could do more for her kid, but then she just can't help like abusing her, which frustrates me. That's all it is.
Anyway, is that everything? Should I go to the next note?
Go ahead.
Burns, I think I saw a thing where Burns seemed to imply that she's the reason why Beato was causing suffering. Did anybody else pick that up? I can't remember the exact line.
No, you're not alone in that thought, man.
I remember that there was like something about her showing up and causing like a bunch of suffering to make Battler want revenge on Beato.
She mentioned killing Battler's family over and over again in horrible ways.
Yep.
And I don't think we've ever actually seen Burncastle do that directly.
No, she's kind of just been a shadow puppet master in the background, just controlling everything behind the scenes.
Alright, so maybe Beatrice wasn't as crazy as she let on?
No, I kind of started thinking that it wasn't the case whenever she was starting to reveal more of her past memories, her past with Rosa, and after we saw that some of her powers and everything came from Lambda Delta.
That said, there were scenes that we saw where she was like psychotic around like Ronove and Regilia. So not really sure what the deal with that is. If she was also putting on an act for them, maybe? Like maybe they don't know the whole deal?
Possibly? Could have also been, like as they said before, being the game master of the game does tend to make you go a bit mad and prideful in your actions.
Unless that was also another piece, like the Beato that acted insane was a piece.
That's interesting, though.
That is my thoughts. I believe I have no more notes.
Piggybacking off of what you said about Burn, it clearly is what I suspect in the first place. Burn is a fucking manipulative bitch!
Wait, I just thought of something. I think Burn mentioned that she wanted Battler to go against Beatrice, want revenge. So that makes me wonder what the deal with Lambda still is in regards to why she basically said that she was puppeting Beato to her. So I wonder what Lambda's connection is.
I'm gay.
So that's the deal.
There's your answer. There's your answer. There's your perfect answer right there.
Man, this is a very masterfully
Good for them.
constructed plot just to come out of the closet.
Woo!
It seems like it's a lot of steps just to get out of the closet. It's a very deep closet. There's a stairway.
I mean, okay, Lambda
man.
actively said way early in the first half of Umineko that she wanted Beato to keep this game going so she could keep Burn there for a time.
They were cuddling in bed together.
But I was just saying, it sounded
They were just
like
sharing some candy.
She talked to Beato as though she had leverage over her.
Every point of reference for these two with the sapphic tones is so not subtle, you could actually see it overflowing coming out of that closet. Sapphic.
Lesbian.
I never understood why that means lesbian.
It's probably some
Sappho.
At the end of
It
this
is.
of this stream, I will gladly explain it.
I'm sure it's Greek.
Thank you.
Alright, I have given all my thoughts.
So, my main thoughts here, which is mostly just, I'll admit, Erica's act got me. I wanted to start feeling bad for Erica because of all this, because Burn is a bitch and she was manipulating the entire situation. I was not expecting Erica to actually have been going along with that.
So I actually do have a thought. My thought was, man, they're really playing up this sympathetic Erica thing, but she's so horrible. So it's hard to really feel much towards her, and then she does the heel turn.
Ugh.
And so I'm like, yes.
I mean, for me, I just thought it's hilarious that I did the whole he's like Goku thing, and then yep, they were playing him. I called it.
It's stretching the confines of my empathy, and I don't like it.
Maybe you shouldn't empathize with witches.
I am a bleed heart, man.
Maybe be careful about supporting sociopaths.
I just can't find any reason to support witches anymore, except maybe like the new Beato. She seems nice, but she's probably just gonna be evil too.
Wait, new Beato?
The
Chick.
chick one.
Chick Beato, yeah.
I mean, she's trying to get into her old self, who was, an evil bitch. So it's like,
I mean, now we don't even know if the original Beato was an evil bitch.
she sure likes acting like one. I guess I'll say.
I'm not sure if she even liked it.
If we can go ahead and just take Chick Beato for it, the original Beato was not a bitch. She was just a kind, sweet girl who learned magic and probably got uber fucked by her family or something.
Everybody started out as a baby. It's like a baby's unlikely to be evil.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Why was that at the baby?
I think you were just acknowledging what I said.
It just becomes the nature versus nurture argument all over again, but in the confines of this novel and everything.
Alright, so any other thoughts regarding the mystery?
Okay, aside from my anger for Erica and Byrne, fuck her, it's really interesting that Zepar and Furfur decided to go with an all-out brawl just to eliminate the couples, knowing full well that they'd be stuck in a stalemate.
Well, only one of them has to die.
Yes, but they're not proactive for fighting, which does make sense with all of their characters and their personalities. None of them would be willing to throw the first punch, and they don't want to wait for an advantage situation, because they'd still be hurting each other.
They should play Team Uno.
I don't think that's real.
You have Uno, blah 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 meme. Okay, but
I wasn't planning to do that meme.
But I'm honestly curious if stuff is gonna stick into part 7 and 8, because we're in the end game. Not actually trying to do that reference, I swear, but the idea that when you get to 7 and 8, I'm gonna shut up now. Actually,
if it's late game spoilers for Higurashi, then maybe not, because there's still some people here who probably haven't finished it.
yeah.
I mean, anybody that might watch this might not have finished it.
Well,
That's
also,
a good
point. Also the fact that like several people haven't even gone around to Higurashi, but have completed Umineko, kind of is a bit of a. It's a testament to how like separated the works are.
I mean, it's not bizarre at all.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's not much you need to know from Higurashi to watch
There's nothing
Umineko.
you need to know.
You literally don't need to know anything.
There's like nothing. It's like
the only
most
thing is you have to get. Oh, like the names are sort of similar.
But that's like that's like just an Easter egg or like a nod.
Like
But
the closest thing I can think of is Burn Castle going Nipa, and that's it.
It's more referential than it is necessary.
Even that, like, you could get all you need from just looking at the character designs of Higurashi, and that is about the extent of it.
It's basically like starting with DMC5. You can, and you'll be fine, but that's like what I did. But
I would say that is very different, but
I would say it's incorrect.
yeah, I would.
But I would say
well, maybe that's a bad example because I watched the.
But let us return to Umineko, not Naku.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Just want to say, hey, first-time viewer, hey, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate that.
We are in the theory crafting section.
That is fair. That's too much of a tangent, and I apologize.
It's fine.
I
Anyway, where were we on the theory crafting?
I also had one other thing to mention. We saw Battler in the closed room space already being murdered. And my mind instantly thought back to the beginning of the chapter and how we've seen someone stuck in a room this entire time. How the chain was completely locked, they tried to exit the room or break out of the room, and they were just getting absolutely bumfuck nowhere with all this. So I thought, that's what happened. What I wrote down here is, this explains why we saw so many of the scenes prior to the person stuck in that room. It was Battler. Whomever the culprit of this game was must have locked him in there and trapped him in there, only to have him killed just for this purpose. That's why we haven't seen him in the overworld.
Oh, you think that's like the purple man? Like the man from like the purple scenes that's like, I need to get out of here?
Yep, the purple man was Battler this whole time.
What was it like it was like the environment was like in the purple meta realm, right?
Yep.
Alright.
Which does make sense if it's needing to buy into the witch's illusion.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yep. Adds a whole new layer to terror for that, though.
But I think it's a little weird that they kind of showed it a little bit earlier than usual.
So, I do wonder, what is the point of doing this method of obfuscation?
You mean obfuscation?
Yes.
Nah, hell, even I don't know if I'm pronouncing that one right. I
It
think
don't
we have to mostly keep up with the audience and show something happening off screen for another character. And if you go back and look, there was no other indication where Battler was, at least for those few moments.
It would be obfuscation.
Thank you. Oh, jeez. First I find out I'm spelling righteous the wrong way, and now I find out I'm saying that the wrong way, too.
I think you said it the right way, though.
Did I?
You said obfuscation.
Oh boy.
Obfuscation.
Obfuscation.
It's close enough.
Alright.
Any other
Amakusa.
Nothing else, actually. The only other major thought I've had is fuck burn.
Yeah.
Well, that's for
no.
Lambda. That's for Lambda, dude. Only she gets to do that. She'll make Erica watch.
Alrighty then. Well,
ew.
If we are,
I mean, these are children, so.
They're 1,000-year-old witches. It doesn't matter if they look
Yeah,
like children.
but they
oh
look like
God, I
lollies,
just went ahead
so
and
it's kind of cringe.
oh my god.
Let's
End
not
the
get
stream.
into this conversation.
End
We're ending the
stream.
stream. We're ending the stream. We're ending the stream right fucking
Read
now.
Beaglesaurus.
So thank you all
Good night,
very, very
everyone.
much for watching.
Nighto.
Please consider subscribing, following, giving me, giving people in this channel money, or checking out their shit. Good night, everybody.